Good afternoon. Now we will start the comparison between a water jet machining and abrasive water jet machining. Before differentiating between these two, we must have to know the similarities between water jet machining and abrasive water jet machining. As we know that these both the processes are mechanically energy based, non-traditional, non-conventional, or advanced machining processes. In both these processes, there will be a wider variety of applications. It will starting from metallic industry. It also useful in textile, leather industry. As in a previous lecture, we see the experimental setup or setup for the water jet machining. In case of a water jet machining, you are using high velocity water jet in order to remove the material from the surface of the workpiece, or in order to cut the workpiece into two parts. We use this high velocity water jet. Only water it will be used as a working medium, and in order to produce this high velocity water jet, you require this nozzle. What is the function of nozzle? It will convert high pressure energy into kinetic energy, high kinetic energy. Means at the outlet of this nozzle, we are getting high velocity jet of the water, but at the inlet we must have to provide high pressurized water, and in order to provide the high pressure water, this remaining arrangement is essential. We require the storage tank, then we require the pump, then we require the intensifier, so that whatever the water it will be coming from the pump and intensifier, and it will be supplied to this nozzle through this wall and control mechanism. That water must have a very high pressure, right? And that high pressure water, when it enters in this nozzle it will convert that pressure energy into kinetic energy, and you are getting the high velocity water jet. And when that high velocity water jet, it will impinge or strike on a surface of the workpiece, the material is to be removed because of a cracking action, tearing failure, right? And mainly it will be because of a erosion process. Material is to be removed. This will be working. We will already studied in water jet machining. In last lecture, we studied this abrasive water jet machining. What is the basic difference? In water jet machining, we are only using water, and in abrasive water jet machining, we are adding the abrasive particles in this high pressure water, and that will be carried out. That mixing it will be carried out in this mixing chamber, and that mixture of water and abrasive it will be allowed to pass through this mixing tube, and this mixing tube it will act as a one kind of a nozzle. And when this high pressure mixture of the abrasive and water, when it is passing through this jet nozzle or mixing tube, you are getting a high velocity abrasive water jet. And that abrasive water jet, when it will be strike on a surface of the workpiece, it will remove the material by the action of a small crack preparation, erosion, and shear failure or crack failure. If you are observing this block diagram of both water jet machining and abrasive water jet machining, what are the similarities? We require the pump and intensifier because we must have to produce high pressurized water, and that water it must be supplied to the nozzle in both the case. And the water pressure it will remain more or less same for the both process. Means whatever the pressure you are providing in this process, it will be in a range of near about 2500 to 4000 bar. That pressure of water it may be a less or more depending upon the workpiece material you are using in order to remove the some material from that workpiece by using water jet machining or abrasive water jet machining. Depending upon the application, we may vary the pressure on the water. And when this high velocity, when this high pressure water, it will be supplied to the nozzle. The function of the nozzle is to convert pressure energy of water into kinetic energy. So that whenever that high pressure water, when it will be coming out from the nozzle, it will produce the high velocity jet. That jet, it may be a water jet in case of a water jet machining, and abrasive water jet in case of a abrasive water jet machining process. And the velocity of that jet, it will be near about 1000 meter per second depending upon the application. These are the similarities between the WJM and AWJM. Also, catcher is desired in both the cases. What is function of catcher? It will neutralize the velocity of the jet before it reaching to the base of the reservoir in order to avoid the breakage of the reservoir, failure of the reservoir. We must have to provide the catcher in both the cases. And a nozzle is designed in both the process in order to convert pressure energy of either water or water abrasive mixture into kinetic energy, so that you are getting the high velocity jet. It may be a water jet or it may be a abrasive water jet. Okay, these are the similarities between the abrasive jet machining and abrasive water jet machining and water jet machining. Now we mainly focus on difference between water jet machining and abrasive water jet machining. If we are considering water jet machining, a high velocity of pure water, high velocity jet of pure water, sometimes it will mix with a stabilizer, is used to erode the material, and that erosion action is required to remove the material from the workpiece. Whereas in a abrasive water jet machining, you are producing high velocity jet of water plus abrasive. That will be a water abrasive mixture in order to remove the material from the workpiece by the action of the erosion. This is the first point. It will differentiate water jet machining with the abrasive water jet machining. Means in case of water jet machining, you are only using the pure water, whereas in abrasive water jet machining, you are using mixture of abrasive and water. Write down this first point. Okay, next. Whatever the material is to be removed from the workpiece in case of a water jet machining, it is only due to the erosion action of this water jet. Whereas the material is to be removed from the workpiece, it is due to micro cutting actions of the abrasive, and water does not directly take part in a process of a removal of the material. Means in case of a abrasive water jet machining, whatever the abrasive we are mixing with the water, they are responsible for removing the material from the workpiece by the action of micro cutting, by the action of micro cutting by this abrasive particles. So this is the second differentiating point where material is to be removed by certain actions. In case of water jet machining, erosion action by water jet, and in case of abrasive water jet machining, micro cutting action of the abrasive. Note down this second differentiating point. Next, in case of water jet machining, we are using the pure water. We are not mixing the abrasive with water. So there will be no requirement of a mixing chamber in case of a water jet machining. But in case of a abrasive water jet machining, we must have to require a mixing chamber for mixing the abrasive particles with the pressurized water in order to maintaining and predefining the mixing ratio of the both. Means how much quantity of water is there and how much amount of abrasive is must to be added in this pressurized water, so that we can must think about the mixing ratio and or concentration of abrasive particles in a water. So this point it will be related with the mixing chamber. In WJM we doesn't require the mixing chamber as we doesn't using the abrasive in this process. But in AWJM we are mixing abrasive with the pressurized water, so we need a mixing chamber in order to provide a proper mixing ratio between abrasive and water particles. So write down this next point of differentiation. Next, the jet of the water it does not possess high power, and thus it cannot be advantageously applied for cutting metal, alloys, and ceramics. That is, whatever the pressure of the water we are using in case of water jet machining, that pressure of water is not much more than not much more, so that whatever the high velocity water jet is to be producing, it will be unable to cut metals, certain alloys, and ceramics. Means water jet machining it will be utilized to machine certain soft materials, leather, right, non-metals or plastics. They does not use it for the hard material. Those are having a very high hardness like a titanium, tungsten carbide, right? Such glass, such materials cannot be machined by using the water jet machining. But in case of abrasive water jet machining, we are using jet of abrasive water mixture, which will have more enough power to slice the metallic plates of a thickness up to 10 mm. See this means by using the abrasive water jet, we can able to cut the metals. Those are having very high hardness, and also the metals that will be cut into two parts, which are having a thickness within a range up to 10 mm. Means 10 mm thickness metal plates can be easily cut by using the abrasive water jet machining. Write down this point. Next, it will be related with abrasive. This point it will be focused on abrasive amendment on a finished surface. In case of water jet machining, we are not using the abrasive. So this process is free from the risk of abrasive amendment on a finished surface. Means if you are using the abrasive particles when we are doing the certain kind of finishing operation because of high pressure or high velocity jet of the abrasive when it will strike on a surface of the workpiece, that kinetic energy is converted into pressure energy, and because of that material removal process is to be carried out. But on a smooth surface, because of a high speed striking of this abrasive, certain embedment म्हणजे काही प्रमाणात abrasive त्यात तसेच चिटकून बसतात किंवा त्याचे खुणाव त्याच्यावरती उमटतात उमटतात फिनिशिंग सरफेसवर. So that will be not possible in case of a water jet machining. But in case of a abrasive water jet machining, it is associated with the risk of abrasive amendment, particularly for ductile workpiece or ductile materials. If you are uh, removing the material from the aluminum or copper, the possibility of abrasive amendment it will be more in case of a abrasive water jet machining. This will be the main differentiating point between water jet machining and abrasive water jet machining regarding the abrasive embedment. Write down this point. Okay. The next point. What is the application of this both the machining? The water jet machining it is suitable for cutting softer material like wood, leather, polymer, certain kinds of the food items, and it will be used for cleaning and removing and coating. Right. For that purpose, we may use the water jet machining. Means water jet machining it will be mainly useful for machining of the softer material, and also it will be used for cleaning purpose and removing the certain burrs or removing of the metal coating surfaces. Whereas in abrasive water jet machining, it will be used for variety of applications from wood, polymer, and metal cutting industries also. So as it is applicable for removing the material from the workpiece, those are having a high hardness, more than 20. So this abrasive water jet machining can be used in various industrial applications. It may be start with a soft metal like wood, then polymer to metal cutting industries. It may cut the material from the uh, carbides, from the that will be tungsten carbide, boron carbide, right, or ceramics. It can be easily cut by using the abrasive water jet machining. Right down. Next one, as we discussed in previous slide, it will be used in food items, right? Water jet machining. It will be used for the food items. Relating to it, this point is mentioned over here. The water jet machining can be employed in the food industry for slicing of the food items like frozen meat, fish, certain fruits, right? It can be sliced out by using the water jet machining. But in case of a abrasive water jet machining, whatever the jet we are using, that will be a mixture of water plus abrasive. And why abrasives are the certain metal particles, those are having a sharp corner or sharp edges. Because of this presence of these abrasive particles, that will make abrasive water jet machining process is a, it will be unhygienic for the applications in a food industry, because it will spoil the foods, right? When the metal particles come in contact with the uh, food items, it will spoil that food or contaminate that food. Because of that, abrasive water jet machining, whereas we are using the abrasive particles, so such process is unhygienic in case of the food processing industries or food industries. That is, water jet machining can be used in food industries for slicing the frozen meat and fish, but we cannot use this abrasive water jet machining, because the presence of the abrasive particles, it will make this process unhygienic for food industry. Write down this point. Okay, next point. It will cover all the points that we have covered up till now. It will be summary of difference between the water jet machining and abrasive water jet. Just to read this all the points for a while. These are the references we are using for studying the difference between water jet machining and abrasive water jet. Okay. Write your roll number for the attendance purpose in chat box. Hello. Write your roll numbers in chat box for the attendance. That will be considered only on 1:30. Only 11 are present. What about the 8 student? Anybody is remaining? So this will be the final attendance for today. Okay. In this way, we cover the difference between abrasive water jet machining and the water jet machining, similarities and difference. Now, we will start with the next type of the machining process, which is based on mechanical energy. That is the ultrasonic machining. It will be called as the USM. Write down this ultrasonic machining, USM. In first part, we will discuss about the what is the ultrasonic block diagram of working for this ultrasonic machining system, and we will study the working principle of this ultrasonic machining. Write down the name of this machining process, that is the ultrasonic machining process. Now, what is the ultrasonic? What is the vibratory waves having a frequency greater than the upper frequency limit of human ear, that is called as ultrasonic waves. Humans ear are able to hear the vibrating range or frequencies up to 16 kilohertz. If the any vibrating waves, those are having a frequency more than 16 kilohertz, then that waves are called to be ultrasonic. What are the type of these waves? It will be longitudinal wave or it will be shear wave. And we are using this longitudinal waves in case of ultrasonic applications. And such longitudinal waves are easily propagate in solids, liquids, and gases. So these are the two types of the waves, that is the shear waves and longitudinal waves. And their waves can be used in a ultrasonic application, and they are mainly or easily passing or propagate through the gas, liquid, and solid. Write down this, what is the ultrasonic? Now, what is the ultrasonic wave? Or now, there are two types of the effect for the ultrasonic wave generation. One is the magnetostatic effect, and second is the piezoelectric effect. Now we are dealing with the longitudinal magnetostriction. Now, what is the longitudinal magnetostriction? When you are keeping a ferromagnetic material between the magnetic field, whose magnetic field is continuously changing. Because of this change in magnetic field, there will be a change in length of that ferromagnetic material, which will act as a transducer. Then what is the ferromagnetic type of transducer? The mainly material used for the magnetostriction action of a magnetostriction transducer. The material is to be used, first one, that is the nickel permalloy, which will consist of 45% of nickel and 55% of iron. And the second type of the material used for the magnet restriction in case of the transducer, it will be premendium. It consists of 49% of cobalt, 49% of iron, and 2% of vanadium. And these materials or such kind of the transducer, they are made up of a laminated sheet, which will help to reduce the ED current losses. So this is the concept of longitudinal magnetostraction, and this magnetostraction, this will be one type of the transducer, magnetostatic transducer. It will be one type. Write down this longitudinal magnetostriction. Next, how this ultrasonic machining is to be carried out. This slide, it will show the block diagram working of this ultrasonic machining process. In ultrasonic machining process, we are producing the ultrasonic waves. And what is ultrasonic waves? Those are having a very high frequency, right? Resonance frequency, more than the frequency limit of a human ear. Means it will be more than 40 hertz, 20 to 40 hertz. So in case of ultrasonic machining, we must require the electrical energy. Then we require the ultrasonic wave generator. We require the AC power supply first. Then we require the ultrasonic wave generator. Then we require the ultrasonic transducer, tool connector, then tool. After that, we require the vibrating abrasive heat on the workpiece. Then the workpiece from which material is to be removed, and the kinetic energy and hammering action, it will remove the material from the workpiece, and whatever the abrasive, those are thousands of abrasive, it will strike on the surface of the workpiece and creates some cracks on the workpiece, and the material is to be removed from that workpiece, and you are getting finished component. This will be a simple block diagram. Now we will explain in detail. As this ultrasonic machining process is to be concerned, we require the high frequency waves, and that frequency waves to be produced by using the transducer. Transducer is a device, it will convert high frequency vibrations into high frequency waves into mechanical vibration. This electrical energy is to be converted into mechanical energy by using this ultrasonic transducer. But this ultrasonic transducer, it will require high frequency, and when you are supplying AC power supply to the ultrasonic wave generator, where it will consist of oscillator and simulator. Accelerator and a simulator. It will generate the high frequency waves, and that high frequency waves, when you are supplying to the transducer, where electrical energy is converted into vibration energy, and that vibration energy, that is the vibration of the transducer, it will be passed to the tool connector, in which tool is to be mounted, and the tool, it is having a shape, like which shape you have to be produced on a workpiece. That same shape, it will be of tool material, and this tool, as it is vibrating between the tool and the workpiece, we are supplying the abrasive slurry, that is a mixture of water and abrasive. Because of vibrating actions of the tool, the abrasive particles are forced against this workpiece, and the hammering action of the abrasive particles, it will remove the material from the workpiece by the action of erosion. As a thousands of craters, it will be formed on a workpiece, the material is to be removed from that particular location below the tool, which is used in a ultrasonic machine. Then lab मध्ये then whatever the finished product you are obtained by removing the material from this workpiece, whatever the material is to be removed by the action of ultrasonic machining, it will be carried out by using that slurry. So in this way, the working of ultrasonic machining is to be explained by using this block diagram. You draw this block diagram, so it will help describe the working of the ultrasonic. Everyone must have. Everyone must have to draw this block diagram, which will explain working of ultrasonic machining. Is it over? Anybody reply? Whether diagram is over? Reply audibly. Because I am sharing the screen, unable to read your message in chat box.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now see here, diagram of this experimental setup for the ultrasonic machine. Here, this will be the transducer, right? This will be the connector, right? And this will be the tool, form shape tool. जो काही शेप तुम्हाला इथे प्रोड्यूस करायचा तो शेप टूलचा असला पाहिजे. And there will be a very minimum gap between tool and the workpiece. It will be more less than 1 mm, 0.2 mm to 1 mm. That much very small gap it must be maintained. And this will be the hatching section. It will show the workpiece. What happens when we are providing electricity? It will be passed to the oscillator. Then it will be passed to the exciter. It will generate high frequency. Generally, AC power supply, it will have a 60 hertz frequency, right? But by using the oscillator and exciter, that frequency it will be near about 20 kilohertz or 25 kilohertz. That much conversion from low frequency to high frequency it will be carried out by using the exciter and the oscillator. And both term for the both there will be a common name, that is the generator. Generator it consists of a oscillator and a exciter, and the function of these two is convert low frequency of electric energy into high frequency. It will convert from 60 Hz to 25 kilohertz or 40 kilohertz in a range. So combinedly this generator it will supply high frequency electric current to the transducer. And the function of this transducer, it will convert high frequency electric current into the vibration. When this generator it will supply high current, high frequency current to this transducer, it will convert that electric energy into vibration energy. Because of that, ultrasonic vibration is to be carried out. And to this transducer, we are providing this concentrator. What is the concentrator? It will be the connecting body between transducer and this tool, or it also called as a horn or tool holder, right? Where we are mounting this tool. As this transducer, it will be vibrating. That vibrations are very high in range. In a fraction of second, thousands of vibrations are to be carried out at a particular location. When you are supplying abrasive slurry between the gap of this tool and this workpiece, as this tool is vibrating, these abrasive particles which are present in a slurry, abrasive particles are nothing but the certain kind of the metal particles, hard metal particles, boron carbide, silicon carbide, aluminum oxide. These are the some names of the abrasive particles, mainly boron carbide and silicon carbide. Those are used as abrasive material in case of the ultrasonic machining in order to remove the material from the hard workpiece. Now here, this is a small section. If we are enlarging this section, this will be the tool, form shape tool, and same shape it will be produced on a workpiece. Why it is happening? As this tool is vibrating over this workpiece, in between that gap, we are providing this abrasive slurry, and that abrasive slurry it consists of the abrasive particles, and abrasive particles are the sharp corner metal particles. Because of a vibrating action, these abrasive particles are bombarded on that particular location of this workpiece, and because of that cracking, small crack it will be produced on a surface of the workpiece, and material is to be removed from the workpiece by action of a vibration by using this transducer. That vibration is to be provided with this form shape tool, and whatever the abrasive slurry it will be flowing to this gap between the tool and the workpiece. Because of this vibrating action, these abrasive particles are forced or dig on this metal surface in order to remove the material from this workpiece. In this way, the material is to be removed from the workpiece by the vibrating action by the transducer and with the help of these abrasive particles which are present in an abrasive slurry that will be passed between the tool and the workpiece. In this way, material is to be removed from the workpiece by the ultrasonic machining. You draw this figure neatly, so it will be useful to explain you the working principle of the ultrasonic machining. Draw this diagram. Draw this enlarged view also, so it will be self-explanatory that how material removal process is to be carried out between this tool and the workpiece. Okay. Now working principle of ultrasonic machining, where electric energy of high frequency is converted into mechanical energy by using the transducer, and these mechanical vibrations are to be transmitted to the abrasive particles in a slurry via energy focusing device like a tool assembly or concentrator. There are two types of the transducer, magnetostatic and a piezoelectric. In magnetostatic transducer, ferroelectric material is kept in between the opposite magnetic field, and as we are changing this magnetic field because of a electromagnetic effect, this ferromagnetic material, its length it gets changing and you are getting the vibrations. In case of a piezoelectric transducer, we are applying the same voltage across the one pair on opposite phase. Because of that, vibrations are to be generated. In certain case of the material like quartz, that is one kind of material. When you are applying equal mechanical force on opposite faces of this quartz, it will generate the vibration. So there are two types of the transducer that are used in ultrasonic machining, magnetostatic and piezoelectric. The recent ultrasonic machining, they are using piezoelectric as a material for the transducer, and in olden days magnetostatic transducer can be used to convert high frequency electric energy into mechanical energy, that is the vibration. This high frequency electric energy, it will be converted into vibration. The main function of transducer, it will convert electric energy into mechanical energy. So in this way, in this lecture we covered the difference between water jet machining and abrasive water jet machining. Also, we start with the last method from mechanical energy based system, that is the ultrasonic machining, where we study what is the ultrasonic waves, how the working of this ultrasonic system is to be carried out by using the block diagram, and working principle of ultrasonic. So with this, we will be stop over here. Right? Anyone have any query? Please feel free to ask